Hi, people of the Philippines and people of the world. Hit the button below. And you will be subscribing to the Boy Abunda Talk channel on YouTube. Let's keep talking.
Infinite Monkeys and the Boy Abunda Talk channel, in partnership with Lani Abunda Amasa, Thor B. Santos, Michael Alan Sikat, Boy Abunda, and Boy So present.
Legalization of marijuana,
Same-sex marriage,
yes or no, divorce, yes or no.
Mahalaga ba ang pagsali sa debate?
Isang kandidato sa Senate or Senado.
Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Welcome to Fast Talk Plus and Why with our 2022 Senatorial candidates. Ang ating panauhin po, Samira Gutoc. Sam, maraming salamat.
Good evening. Wow, Sir Boy. Good evening.
Kumusta ang buhay kampanya?
Sir Boy, syempre 2019, dumaan ako doon. It's body-wrenching talaga po. Sweat, literally. No? Ito pala ang buhay. And I chose this path. So okay po, not with my son, 7-year-old na iwanan ko, who can't sleep at night, mommy. And so, yeah, it's talagang wonderful po, very humbling to see people in wheelchairs. Nagdadagsaan po yung mga matatanda sa mga assembly. And yes, conscious pa rin kami po sa protocols, kakaboy, but we're hoping na the message gets across in every assembly that we attend to.
Anong pagkakaiba ngayon at saka ng 2019?
2019 exposed me for the first time to a national campaign. Sabi nila, anong messaging mo? Yung tinrain nila po ako, 2019, Ocho Diretso really was a school for me, and the friendship and Senator Kiko's campaigning management was really wonderful with VP Lenny. But then Aksyon gave me that chance to be Bilis Aksyon at the time na pandemya po, kakaboy. Talagang eyeball namin po yung may sakit. Parang hindi kami takot po, kakaboy, na COVID wards. I will tell that eye to you, kakaboy. I really stood in COVID wards. I took videos of people who allowed themselves to be videoed na this is really a COVID life and it's harmful to us. So, yun po, I'm very grateful to this campaign, Bilis Kilos, na pandemic pa ang pinasukan, and that's why maybe I chose to run again. Because I'm the girl from the war-torn South, so this is the war of the deceased naman.
Mm-hmm. What are your chances, Sam?
Kakaboy, I was 25 the last time, and for a phenomenal push, I remember Senator Bongo that time din, na he was really like far off. By January, he rose up. And I know na I can't follow their path. They were administration candidates. I was opposition. Right now, centrist yung Aksyon where I am. Bilis Kilos Party. And so I hope that with the messaging namin, if they conduct 5 campaigns po a day po, kakaboy, we were doing 10 events, meetings a day. I mean, we really pushed it twice, thrice, the limits that the other parties were doing. And other organizations we call it retail kasi we really go down to the level that my mother or my sister, my family members, everyone, all those alternative spokespersons go to communities. So parang bugbog sarado po, kakaboy. Makita ko sa mukha, face to face, kayo dito sa Pilipinas na ginawa ko po lahat ang kampanyang dapat gawin.
You're one among 64,
64.
senatorial candidates.
Wala, pakarami.
What sets you apart?
Kakaboy, I think crisis sets me apart, and we are in crisis. Nobody, I think, sa 64 can say na nakaharap nila yung Abu Sayyaf. I think nobody can say that hinarap nila ang Gulf War, which I grew up as a child in Saudi. Nobody can say that Russia-Ukraine is something they understand because I grew up in Saudi for 15 years and I know oil politics. And I think I have the passion of a girl who traveled 30 countries around the world to represent our country. Wala akong social media that time. Walang videographer. Walang documentor ako. As a journalist, as a writer, as a speaker. Kakaboy, I think I have that kapalmuks to stand beside patients, mga taong nangangailangan, vulnerable, LGBT man yan, Muslim man yan. I think my story, their story, I can absorb, internalize, and act upon. I mean, hindi siya rhetoric na I'll catch a grenade for you, kakaboy. I literally, in front of my door in Marawi, people will shoot Sabi nila because they didn't like what I wrote, they didn't like what I said, and they will put bullets there. So sabi ko, hindi ako takot, Kakaboy. This is my life. I chose this path.
Maraming salamat for your story, Sam. Ngayon naman ay umpisa na natin ang ating political fast talk. Isabong, suspend or continue, bakit?
I-suspend, I question all kinds of gambling. I feel that other more productive activities can be imposed to the youth and to the elders and adults that proliferates the kind of mendicancy na dapat iwasan po.
Wealth tax or digital tax, and why?
Wealth tax po dahil sa digital tax naman everyone is an online person. Senior citizens need it for ayuda, information, etc. Wealth tax would address the elite, the people who have the privilege of luxury. Sila po ang imposan like sa smoking, etc. These leisure activities, they have the privilege to conduct. So okay po sa wealth tax.
Legalize or criminalize abortion, and why?
Sir, there's a thin line here, no? Baka may misinterpret ako, Kakaboy. I'm a feminist, I'm a reproductive health advocate, pero when the fetus is formed and there's a certain period that 3 months, 6 months, malaki na po siya, there's a decision for a young woman to make na, I still am schooling, but napasok na yung fetus. I would not want that decision to favor abortion. If it could be that it is something that destroys the health of a woman, sa pregnancy niya, mamamatay yung babae, that is the only time po that abortion is okay for me.
Sam, are you for or against lowering the age of criminal responsibility, and why?
Kabataan po ay hindi about the edad, sir. It's about just maintaining what is there as law, youth development, programming by government na activities so that they won't engage in criminal activities. Yun po yung aking gustong tutukan, sir. Boy.
Anti-terrorism law needs to be amended. Agree or disagree, and why?
Having faced so-called terrorists in the eye po, Kakaboy, it's really about trying to address the roots of terror and disgruntlement. Bakit? Sir, bakit Abu Sayyaf? Bakit Mauti Group? They think that their Islamic culture is not recognized. They think that their Islamic schools are not looked into, that there's no laws for them. Kaya nasingit po, Kakaboy, that I have to run because there are laws that I can push na baka pwedeng terrorist, nandito na rin ako di ba? Tama na.
Are you for or against political dynasty, and why?
Sir Kakaboy, I am acknowledging that in Mindanao, in Bisaya din ako, na marami po tayong eksperyensya, na maraming productive dynasties. At tiningala sila for almost a century. Alam ko yun, Kakaboy, but we are young, we are reformists. We want to centralize power. Ang daming talento. Baka pwedeng limitahan. Wag na. Limitahan ang dynasty.
As a country, should we lean more towards China or America, and why?
If it's an either-or relation, iba-iba po kultura China. Konting ekonomiya China. Mas actually malaking ekonomiya China. Tinulungan kami sa Marawi ng China. America naman, defense. Kailangan natin sila, ekonomiya din. So it's iba't iba pong Kakaboy na elemento I would side on a because of the West Philippine Sea claim natin. America has this relation with us on security. I would look at America when it's America versus China in that frame.
Open pit mining or in situ mining, and why?
Not having studied C2 mining so much, but I know that mining, it occurs in our places in Mindanao. Hindi po pwedeng agawin ng mining ang land ng ancestral domain ng mga katutubo. Anything that destroys our nature without bringing sustainable development there is harmful.
Good manners and right conduct, or ROTC, and
Good
why?
morals, Kakaboy, because tayong mga probinsyano, tayong mga kapwa Pilipino, we need our young people to respect that killing is wrong. This is something that should be taught as a child. Anything that discriminates, wag nilang bastusin ng LGBT or a Muslim or a minority. So good morals. It all starts in respect.
Legalization of wedding, agree or disagree, and why?
Anti talaga ako gambling, Kakaboy. Not just being a Catholic Muslim country tayo, but we can always engage in other activities para sa pera.
Commission on Appointments or Committee on Finance, and why?
Wow. I am a champion po of good governance in finding the most qualified, Kakaboy. I was in a bank directorship, etc. So I think sa CA ako.
Pork barrel, good or bad, and why?
Kaya nga pork haram, ganun. Pork barrel, it's something that legalizes a role of a legislator na instead na pulisi ang kanyang tinitingnan, paano yung proyekto bababa na itong financial. So, hindi siya tugma sa role ng isang legislatura. And kaya pumapasok ako po, it's not for the pork, but it's really about the legislation work.
Pwede pa bang bumaba ang buwis ng mga empleyado? Oo, hindi at bakit?
Kakaboy, inakyat yung sa sundalo police eh. So, hindi pwede sir kasi umaakyat yung presyo. With Russia-Ukraine, umakyat ang gasolina. So, if there's a way that the idle assets, kakaboy, ng Pilipinas, magamit, kasi yun ang problema daw eh. Aakyatin mo yung sweldo ng teacher, wala ka naman pangkuhan ng pera. Activate, find the idle assets, collect more taxes, kaya magkakapera tayo.
Dapat bang college graduate ang isang senador o mambabatas? Yes or no, and why?
Kakaboy, the Senate is the highest, of course, co-equal Congress, but Senate is a national policy making. Kailangan ng intricacy ng pag-aaral ng batas. At 3 times ako nag-bar exam, sir, hanggang ngayon, hindi ko pa alam ng todo ang batas. Kailangan ng alam ng legislatura, senator ang batas. Siya ang gumagawa eh.
Kailangan college graduate.
Kailangan, sir, college.
Mahalaga ba ang pagsali sa debate ng isang kandidato sa eleksyon? Yes or no, and why?
Voters' education is mandatory. I saw it in the Comelec Digest eh. Yes, it should be. Paano po yung kaming nasa bundok, kaming nasa mga tubig, sa tawi-tawi, malalaman ng mga taong hindi namin makakarap ng ganito, kakaboy. So I'm so glad talaga po the assemblies were mandatory on us na makaharap namin ng lahat ng tao sa lahat ng klaseng gender sector. Kailangan po karapin.
Do you believe that there were extrajudicial killings during the war on drugs? Oo, hindi, bakit?
Bilang isang nagbantay po, partner ng CHR, partner po ng various human rights organizations, yes po, and wives, widows, alam ko po na may mga talagang EJK victims. So, sana po maging instrumento po ako for their survivorship mental health support, yung kanilang families na survivors.
BOC, Bureau of Customs, is believed to be the most corrupt agency in government. Pag ikay nahalal bilang senador, what will you do and why?
Digitize, automate, make it make it lessen yung mga human na transaction na usapan ganito para alisin ang mga fixers na nag-ronda-ronda lang dyan sa compound. So, kailangan lahat automated para wala na. Online na lang lahat.
Dapat ba ang mga simbahan nangangampanya in times of elections? Why?
PPCRV and these partner groups are church partners. Sila po yung legitimate na nangangampaign on voters' education, on partisan activities. The church might not be a very, very, the proper platform for religious. In Islam, naniniwala kami na pwede i-combine, pero ito kasi nasa constitution, kakaboy, separate talaga, church and state. So, they can't violate that doctrine. It's there, constitutional siya.
Papapasukin mo ba sa bahay mo ang isang taong hindi bakunado? Yes or no, at bakit?
Kakaboy, syempre gusto ko protektado ang pamilya ko, pero karamihan ng mahirap, karamihan ng katutubo, hindi bakunado. I mean, aminado ako, maraming ka-Musliman, hindi pa nagpa-vaccinate. And yes, we are campaigning po in the process. Kakaboy, vaccinate, vaccinate, vaccinate. Pero yeah, may limitasyon po sila, not in the bedroom. Not in the bedroom.
Peace talks with the Communist Party of the Philippines, New People's Army, National Democratic Front, or CPP, NPA, NDF, agree or disagree, and why?
Naku, sir, champion tayo ng peace process sa Pilipinas sa buong historia ng kapayapaan. Sir, we had Carlos Garcia, the UN SecGen, articulating peace. We have the best constitution that has one of the best sentences sa kapayapaan. We had people powers on kapayapaan. Dinala natin ang bandila ng kapayapaan sa buong mundo. So yes, kailangan peace talks tayo. Tayo manguna sa peace process.
May ipin ba ang Blue Ribbon Committee ng Senado? Yes or no, and why?
Yes, it should. It should have. It's not a place for just parang public publicity trial by publicity. It should be kasi role namin, sir, if I become a senator, as a senatorial, binabantayan mo yung mga ahensya. Sabi mo customs, sabi mo si immigration, sabi mo si BIR may problema. So paano mo bababantayan yan kung walang blue ribbon? Titingnan yung mga opisyales na lifestyle nila, luxury cars nila ba, saan yan nanggagaling?
Pag ikay pinalad maging senador ng Pilipinas at naroon ka na sa loob, would you want to be Senate President? Yes or no, and why?
Wow, sir, I've been president naman of the National Youth Parliament, Executive Vice President, almost acting president, and I think, why not in the future? Senator Santanina Rasul was the first Muslim woman senator of our republic. And who knows, a minority woman from the South could be thought of, just like the youth parliament.
Freedom of speech and press freedom come with the power to invent fake news. Agree or disagree? Why?
That's true. Kay demokrasya po naman ito, kakaboy. Alam natin na the greater freedoms, the greater irresponsibility din. May lumalabas. Kaya ako rin, bilang isang true news or rightful truth advocate, talagang nire-remind ko yung mga kabataan, wag natin, i-combat natin ang fake newsing.
Tama ba o hindi ang kasalukuyang proseso na ang justices and judges are selected and appointed by the JBC and the President of the Philippines? Why?
May problema po ako sa President's pen on a justice kasi the justice is a co-equal. The Supreme Court or the judicial is co-equal sa executive. So kung may impluwensya si Presidente sa iyong hustisya, ikaw justice ka, di paano yung decision niya na dapat check and balance. Kaya kayo tatlo executive, legislative, judiciary, kasi pare-pareho kayong magkapatid pero may kanya kayong kingdom. Hindi kayo nagkakaanuan ng power.
As Senator, what would you do to mitigate climate change and why?
So much. At the family level, at the behavioral level po, kakaboy, hindi ako nagbabasura. I put it at my daily task. Solid waste management, it starts there. Paano natin, how do we buy products and how do we throw products? This consumer lifestyle natin, ng bili ako ng bili, branded lahat ng gamit, lahat junk food. I mean, this is something na tayo as kabataan, tayo as people of this generation, modern age, pwede natin desisyonan less branding, packaging para po less basura.
You are
Climate
Senator
change.
of the 19th Congress sa awa ng Diyos. Ano ang iyong unang privilege speech and why?
Saan po napunta ang pandemic response? Paano po natin in-address yung mga nilibing natin? I'd like a post-recovery speech of the pandemic because I'm a crisis survivor. I want the crisis victims, yung mga namatayan, yung mga survivors nila, to know that I still think of them. The frontliners, kumusta yung sweldo nyo? I'd like to know what is the status of our pandemic response.
Should social media be regulated or censored and why?
Social media is precisely social media. Although we signed a contract, so-called, signed an agreement with Facebook or social media group companies that there's limitations, pornography, etc. It is a social media that is social in a democratic environment. Hindi tayo gaya ng China na 2 channel lang o kaya Malaysia pwedeng i-censor what time to watch something. So no, it shouldn't be.
Okay. Do you dream of becoming President of the Republic of the Philippines one day?
No,
Yes or no, and why?
No, sir. I dream of becoming a regular girl, but forced by Marawi siege, forced by Zamboanga siege, forced by all these calamities that I've seen and served, kakaboy. I think being a girl, a woman from the South, serving our country, maybe in the Senate lang, maybe in the future, whatever capacity, okay na po yun.
If you had the power to fire someone in government today, who is this and why?
Wow, a personality. I can't think right now. Maybe people in the customs that can't yet control people from within.
You're a public servant, you're a child of God, you're a daughter, you're a wife, you're a sister. Who are you first and why?
That's so deep, kakaboy. I'm a woman standing in front of you, kakaboy, who has so much aspirations. Multitasking, multitasker, dreamer, aspirer, public servant wannabe, NGO girl. There's so many heads and hats inside of me. But foremost on top of the list is really being a wife and mother to my 7-year-old Amir, who I think of every moment that he's angry right now that I'm in this public journey, but I won't trade this moment to be facing Boy, the legend. I mean, hindi to mabibili this moment. When win or lose, kakaboy, I know that I did my part to serve my country in voicing out for the vulnerables wherever I went in this 7 months.
Maraming salamat, Sam. Doon nagtatapos ang ating political fast talk. Ngayon naman yung light na fast talk
Yes,
questions.
kakaboy.
Okay. Sam, lights on or lights off and why?
Lights off. Because I want to sleep with dark. Tulog diretso.
Best time for sex and why?
I think gabi, yeah, when everyone is asleep.
You are up against 63 other senatorial candidates. Kung pipili ka ng isa na isasama mo sa langit, sino at bakit?
Maybe Chel, because parang talagang kindred spirit feeling ko kay Chel kami.
Kung may isasama ka sa impyerno, sino at bakit?
Huwag ka magalit, Attorney Larry, kasi nagtampo yung mga ilang Muslims sa statement mo. I know you corrected it, si Attorney Larry.
Does size matter? Yes or no, and why?
Yes, for pleasure.
Sex or Wi-Fi?
Wi-Fi, good.
Bakit?
Wi-Fi, we find sex there. Yo, ganun na. Ganun na, no? Patay ako sa anak ko.
Sex or chocolates, and why?
Oh, chocolate, okay na. We have a lot of sex. Online, offline.
Sex or Senado, at bakit?
Oh, mabigat yun na. Mag-iisip ako. Senado. Husband, oh, wait.
You're the pearly gates, Allah is there, and he says, my daughter, ano yung pinakamagandang bagay na nagawa mo para sa akin? What would you say and why?
It's too general to say make it a better place, kakaboy, di ba? World is making it a better place. But being a woman of, siguro, trying to wade my way in this hard world, trying to wade my way among generals, literally, among army men, palagi ko sinisingit pwede ba akong magsalita? Pwede ba akong sumingit? Isang conference in Canada, pwede po ako bang sumingit ng ilang minuto? Ganun po ang buhay ko And I thank God, wherever I was brought to this world, whether in Tawi-Tawi, Apari, Holo, I think I did my part po to voice out po, kakaboy. So, whatever the bashing that came my way, I accept it po, pasensya na po, hindi po ako nakabigay ng satisfactory explanation to many people who say, why did you shift? Why did you leave someone? Why did you abandon? I did not abandon who I was. I'm an activist, I'm a woman, I'm a mother, I'm a survivor. And I think, boy, God can attest because He told us in the Quran, my hands will testify, my feet will testify, and my heart will say to God what I did.
Maraming salamat.
Thank you, kakaboy.
And mabuhay ka.
Mabuhay tayo,
God bless.
kakaboy. God luck, good luck.
Sponsored by Jonathan So and Carl Macadandang of Tok Tok and Siomai King, Mario Theros of Ultra Fit Coffee, and Boy So of La Carmela de Boracay.
Hi, people of the Philippines and people of the world. Hit the button below. And you will be subscribing to the Boy Abunda Talk channel on YouTube. Let's keep talking.